Good evening. Happy Sunday fun day. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's had a nice Sunday afternoon. Enjoying this cool weather we're having here at the end of May that feels like April or March. Um, Hopefully everyone's had a restful afternoon, or at least a productive afternoon if you didn't get to make it restful. If you are on YouTube or Facebook, give me a quick hello in the chat. Let me know you're here. We're going to be doing a little bit of our games and Bible study as we normally do. And so we're going to be playing some games here in a moment. So I'm going to wait just a little while longer to let everybody join before we jump into the games. But our theme tonight is remember. So while you have the string tied around the finger there on the graphic, anybody ever actually done that? I've always heard that, it's kind of a tie a string on your finger to remind yourself type of thing, but never known anybody to actually do it. I always heard people complain that if they did that, they'd probably forget what the string was there for, and that would probably be me. But, yeah, it's sometimes difficult to remember, and we're going to talk about that as part of our game and also as part of our Bible study tonight. So we're going to be looking at Psalm chapter 70, and it's referred to as a psalm of remembrance. So something for us to think about and to remember. I thought it went kind of well with our discussion this morning about Memorial Day and having a memorial to remember things that God has done for us. So we're going to be looking at that tonight. Hi, Stina. How are you? Good to see you on as well. All right. So it's a little slow getting started here. I'm going to wait just a little bit longer before I jump in. And because I want to get you guys input on some of these topics that I've got. We're doing a list type game tonight. Probably not, I guess, really even a game, just more of a exercise that I think would be kind of fun. And so I'm going to ask you to create some lists for me here tonight. So we'll get started here in just a moment. Hi, Will. Good evening. And Christy's in on as well. She's chiming in from the church account there. Hi, Carol. Good evening. All right. So looks like things are working. Then I'm seeing several people on the Facebook and a couple people on YouTube. So we'll go ahead and get started. Then I hope everyone has had a wonderful afternoon. And so that idea of remembering, some of the things that we do. Christy said won't let her change it from herself to the church to herself from the church account. So tonight, as the church is I'm putting stuff in on the game, you'll know it's actually Christy. Hi, Miss Judy. Good afternoon. Good to see you again. And all right, so good to see everybody here tonight. And so that idea of remembering things, I was thinking, what are some of the things we do to remember? I mean, obviously, I got the graphic there, putting the string around your finger is kind of the old the thing people would say. I've never actually seen anybody do it, but something people would say to do. I'm on a sticky note, at least that's what I was trying to accomplish with the graphic there. I definitely use the sticky notes when you want to remember something. You put it on there, put it where you'll see it. Christy's been known to put sticky notes on the door. So that as I'm walking out the door, it's staring me in the face, and somehow I can still seem to forget that as well. But sticky notes, things like that, excuse me, are ways that we remember things. So I got some questions for you. We're gonna jump right into it. And by the way, your chat will now be on the screen, so I just want to let people know that as we're getting into this. That way, everybody can see who's responding what. First of all, I want you to give me some ideas. What are some things you lose? What are some things that's common for you to lose? And I'm leaving this wide open. Oh, that's right. Miss Judy said crossing your fingers is another way to remember something. So yeah, cross your fingers and hope you remember why you've crossed. Why are my fingers crossed again? I was going to do something. That's a good one. I've never actually heard that one. So that's a good option there. Better than tying the string. So what are some things that we lose? Now give me a nice list here of things that we tend to lose at times. Carol says your mind. Yep. I've definitely lost that more than a time or two. Stina says, my dog when she runs away. Yes, that's easy to do, isn't it? Those little jokers get away too fast, and it's easy to lose them. Miss Judy said keys, billfold, and watch, and time. Okay, all of those are good. Yeah, the keys are definitely one I had in mind. I am really bad about losing keys. That's why Christy has a system for us and tries to keep me on it, because I will sit a key down or leave it in a pair of pants or who knows what, and I can't find the keys, and that's always frustrating. But yeah, lose your watch, lose your billfold, and losing time. I've definitely lost time before. You just kind of get into something and whoa, was it that time already? So Christy loses her phone. That she definitely does. Christy has one of those things where she can push a button on her watch and her phone will make some noise, and it's multiple times throughout the day we hear that little sound, the tones going, here's where your phone is, kind of a I can't remember exactly how the ding goes, but ding 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 or something, and we're all like, here's your phone. So alright, Carol says pen and glasses. Definitely glasses, for I can relate to that. I only wear glasses for reading and I still can't keep up with them. I don't know how I can sit them down so quickly. And a pen, yeah. Well, pens are one of those things, like when you need one, you can never find one. But when you don't need one, they'll be everywhere. You're trying to clean up, you're like, where did we get all these pens from? Yeah, Miss Judy says she's always losing keys as well. Will says he loses his memory. Yeah, forget why you walked into a room. Isn't that so true? Like, I'm here for something. What did I go in here for? That's a bad feeling, but becoming more and more frequent. I think they call that the here for disease. Like, walk in the room and go, what am I here for? All right, seem to be slowing down momentum on things we lose. I think we've covered all the ones that I had initially thought came to mind real quickly. So I'm going to ask you another question then. Maybe another list. List some things you find that you forgot you had. Miss Judy tells me to put a pair of glasses in every room. That's what she does to keep me able to find them. That's kind of what I'm starting to do. I have a pair of glasses I leave by the bedside table, one I leave on my desk, and then I try to keep one in my pocket when I'm moving around. But yeah, that's about the only way to do it, is to keep a whole bunch of them on hand. But anyway, things you find you forgot you had. Oh, let's see. Oh, Miss Judy said one of the things you lose is the car in the parking lot. I've done that as well. You walk out like, ooh, wait a minute, I thought I parked right here, but where is that car? It's a bad feeling to lose a car. But definitely done that before, especially if it's on one of those multi-level parking decks and you get off on the wrong level and kind of leave you wondering, oh no, am I going to find this car or not? So, all right. So I know we got a little bit of a lag, but things you find that you forgot you had. Anybody ever found something like that? I'll give Christy a chance to tell on herself on this one. Otherwise, I've got an example of this. Vegetables, yes. You know, I didn't even think about that, but you're so right. You go to the refrigerator and you pull it out and you're like, oh, I forgot we had those. If I'd known we had those yesterday, I would have eaten that. So, yeah. Did I lock the door before going to work but find that I did? Yes, the whole thing of did I lock it or not? And you actually did, so you didn't have to worry about it, but you were still worried about it because you weren't sure if you should be worried about it. I like that. That's kind of how our brains work a lot of times, isn't it? I wish I could remember if I did that or not. Just use as money you put back for a trip. Yes, and that's always a good one, isn't it? When you kind of find like, oh, I stuck this money back here for something, and you forgot all about having it. That's kind of like winning a little prize there. Like, yay! Finding some money. Y'all get coming up with all sorts of stuff I hadn't even thought of. Times that you find something that you forgot you had. All right, well, Christy's not chiming in, so I'm going to tell on Christy. Christy sometimes chocolate. Yeah, I don't doubt that Christy finds chocolate that she forgot she had because she stashes it everywhere. She has to hide it from me apparently. So um, then she'll find her little stash that she forgot she made to replace the other stash that had already been found. So that's a good one, Christy. That's not the one I was actually going to tell on you about though. Christy will occasionally find Christmas presents from the year before that she forgot she had, and she didn't find them for that Christmas. And so, oh wait, what's this for? We were going to give that as a gift. So that was the one that I thought of. Miss Judy, pictures, yes, that's always a good find as well. And then you find a picture like, oh, I forgot I had this. Yeah, that's one of those good finds. Christy hides presents from herself. Yep. All right, so you guys are coming with all kinds of neat stuff here. This is why I like asking these kinds of list things, where you guys just kind of chime in with all sorts of stuff, because you always come up with things I didn't even think about. So, all right, things you forgot you had. So we've already done things we lose, things that we find that we forgot we had, and now I just want to get you to give me some things you forget. What are some of the things that you repeatedly just forget? Now, obviously, losing something can sometimes be forgetting where it is, I guess. But these are just, what are some of the things we forget? As you say, yeah, Christine, you don't have to buy presents, so you already found the ones you hid from before. Alright, so what are some things you forget? And people's names, yes, okay, I wasn't thinking that right now, but that's definitely high on my list. I struggle so hard sometimes with just recalling names. And used to do a lot better than I do now, that's for sure. Carol says, I can't remember anything right now. So yeah, forgetting everything. Just anything that goes into the brain goes out of the brain. So I can relate to that one too. Stina says to return phone calls and texts. Ooh, me too. I am so bad about that. If somebody sends me something and I haven't responded right away, they need to contact me again, because chances are I made a mental note to call them back or to send them a text back, and it's already long gone. So that's a good one there. Christy says things she forgets to remind me of things I told her to remind me so I wouldn't forget. This is very true. I'm always telling Christy, I'm like, remind me to do this, remind me to do that, or call so-and-so, or to think of this, or whatever. And so then Christy has to try to remember to remind me so that I don't forget, and she forgets. So yeah, that's one of those multi-tiered forgetfulness loops there. Nobody here has any trouble remembering birthdays or anniversaries or anything? That's a common one that we forget. Something that sometimes we'll know the answer. We know what it is, but just can't seem to bring it to mind. So, you had to renew driver's license. Thank you for saying that, because my driver's license needs to be renewed. I just had a birthday, and this is the month I'm to renew it. So I think I don't remember exactly how long you have there, but I'm into my renewal period now. So thanks for reminding me, Miss Judy. But yes, that's so easy to forget, isn't it? You go to show somebody your license for whatever, they need to see your license, like, do you know this is expired? Like, oh no. So yeah, that's a really good one. You forget about it. It's one of those things the downside to only renewing it every 4 years or however often it is. I guess in some cases it could be shorter if you're, I don't know exactly all the details, but basically every 4 years, and it's easy to forget because you just don't do it that often. Miss Judy says at her age it's not hard to forget things. It's not hard for me to forget things either. So it's getting easier and easier. I have to really write things down, and then I forget where I wrote them down, and try try to find some method to force me to remember something, and it's not going well at times. So, all right. So I see the things we forget slowing down a little bit. So we'll jump right on into the next thing here. And I want you to kind of think about those ideas, that idea of forgetfulness, and how easy it is to either forget something or to misplace something, or, like I said, to find something we misplaced before and didn't even know we misplaced it. There's just all different ways that we can just forget things, and there's a lot of reasons we forget things. So sometimes the busier we are, the less likely we are to remember things. Sometimes the more stress we're under, the less likely we are to remember things. And how the time, we mentioned the driver's license. If something doesn't come up frequently, it's easy to forget about that, and to forget or to not remember something at that point. So I want us to look at Psalm chapter 70. And Psalm 70 is referred to as a psalm of remembrance. It says, the subscript of the psalm says, to the chief musician, a psalm of David to bring to remembrance. David's saying, these are the things I want us to remember. And I thought it was interesting because this psalm, Psalm 70, is, some people refer to it as a snippet of another psalm, or as a fragment, I guess is probably the word they use a lot of times. So the reason they do that is because this psalm, or the 5 verses in Psalm chapter 70, are also the same 5 verses that are at the end of Psalm chapter 40. And so it's almost a repeat. It's like they've taken those 5 verses out of the end of that psalm and they've made it its own psalm. And Bible scholars like to argue over whether that was intentional or whether it was accidental. Maybe a part of this got copied somewhere else, and because of that, I don't believe there's any accidents to what we have in Scripture. I think even if it was accidental for the person doing it, it was under the direction of the Holy Spirit, and then God wanted it to be a separate psalm for us, even though it's included in Psalm chapter 40 as well. But I thought that was an interesting piece of information about this psalm when it's called to bring to remembrance. He says we really don't want to forget these things, and then it's repeated again. Isn't that one of the ways we try to remember things that we don't want to forget? We say them over and over and over again. I know I do. Sometimes when I work by myself, I'm kind of doing my task and there's really no one around. If I'm trying to really remember something, I'll just say it over and over and over to myself. I'm like a crazy person over there just talking, but I try to say it enough that it kind of etches into my mind. And even if I'm going from one room to the next, sometimes you mentioned that problem of walking into a room and going, oh, what I come in here for? Same way. So a lot of times when I'm going there, I'm just saying over and over, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, so that I remember it. I repeat it. Also for names, that's one of the things they say that you're trying to when you're meeting someone new, one way to help remember a name is to repeat their name frequently. Use it over and over again during that conversation, as it kind of helps to get it into your head by repeating it. So I thought it was interesting that this psalm is repeated. And the inscription it says it's to bring to remembrance. So I think it's important in that regard to look at this and say, okay, God obviously wanted us to stop and think about these 5 verses again, even though they were already included somewhere else. And it's a Psalm of David, and it's to help us to remember. And then if you notice, the interesting thing about it when you go into it is it's really a psalm about asking God for help. It's a psalm about praying to God and saying, I need you. He starts right away. He says, make haste, O God, to deliver me. Make haste to help me, O Lord. I thought it was interesting that's the remembrance. He's not saying, oh, I remember a time when I needed help. He's saying, God, I need help right now. But we need to remember that. And then as I was thinking about that, I'm thinking, well, what is it we're trying, what's the remembrance here? What are we trying to do? And I think he's trying to get us to think about, we need to always remember where we go for our help. Because so many times it's easy to want to just, take things on ourselves. I can fix this. I can do this. I can make this happen. And we kind of look to ourselves, or we kind of look to other things that we find security in, things that make us comfortable, and things that we feel good about, instead of saying, okay, God, I need you. I need you to help me, and I need you to help me right away. Make haste to help me, Lord. I need you right now, right in this moment, and right away. And so that's what the psalmist is saying. He's saying, I want to remember to call on God when I need help. Verse 2, he says, let them be ashamed and confounded that seek after my soul. Let them be turned backward and put to confusion that desire my hurt. Here David is saying, God, I have people that are after me, and I want you to be the one to turn them away. I want you to be the one to frustrate them, to make them realize that they can't do anything that you don't allow them to do. And he's almost here, crying out for God to turn back his enemies. And in a way, he says he wants them to be ashamed. He wants them to be confounded or confused, and he wants them put to confusion. He's asking God to do things to them. And that's kind of, I think, one of the beauties of the Psalms is that so many times we see that human emotion, that idea of God, these people are after me, and I want you to stop them. I want you to turn the tables on them. And Miss Judy says she has a whiteboard and a refrigerator that she writes on. That's a really good idea, so you won't forget. Yeah, putting the stuff on a whiteboard right there so you can... That's kind of what I probably need more of is more spaces just to write things down where I'll see them over and over again. That's a really good idea. But you see David kind of saying, God, stop them. And I don't know that the psalm is definitely saying we should be doing that. I don't know that the psalm is saying that we should pray that those who we don't, that are, seem to be attacking us, that seem to be against us, that we should, ask God to do something to them, to confound them, to make them ashamed and all that. But it's still that's how we feel, right? That's a human emotion, and that's kind of what David is saying here. He's coming to God saying, I need you to act on my behalf. I need you to be the one to watch out for me. And then he goes on in verse 3 to say, let them be turned back for a reward of their shame that say, aha, aha. And I just love that phrasing there. The ones that say, aha, like I got you. We got you this time. And I imagine David felt like that plenty of times when he was being hunted by Saul and Saul's army, when he was, people were after him, and he never really knew if someone's coming by. Is that person loyal to Saul? Are they seeking me out? Are they going to, turn me in, tell him where I'm at? or are they, friendly to me? And so he always, probably very cautious about people coming around. He says, let them be turned back. Reward them, for the fact that they're wanting to attack me. Give them shame as a reward. And for the ones that say, aha, I love that wording. That you can just feel the emotion that he feels. He feels like the world is against him, or at least the people that are attacking him are against him. And he's saying, God, I need you to be on my behalf. Verse 4, he says, let all those that seek thee rejoice and be glad in thee. And let such as love thy salvation say continually, let God be magnified. Now I like this verse 4 because he kind of stops for a moment. He's been talking for 2 verses there about, God, I want you to reject my enemies. I want you to punish them. I want you to turn the tables on them. And now he kind of gets away from that thinking about himself piece to kind of say, okay, God, what I really need to focus on is you. What I really need to focus on is who needs to get the glory out of this. Because it wasn't David that needed to get glory out of the situation. It was God. But initially he had to get past that emotion of, this is what I'm feeling, this anger, this wanting to strike back. And I think a lot of times we need to take that to heart as well, that sometimes we need to talk through those feelings with God too. We may be feeling something that we say, well, that's not very Christian, but it's how I feel. We need to be able to talk through that with God and say, okay, God, help me here. And then eventually kind of turn that corner and say, okay, God, I'm going to quit focusing on me so much and what I want and what I need. And I'm going to remember that the important thing here is that those who seek you are rejoicing, that they're blessed, that they're glad because of what you do in their life. And let those such as love thy salvation say continually, let God be magnified. He says, let all of us who know you, who love you, who are part of your family, let us make sure that we're lifting up your name. That's also one of the things we need to remember, is that whenever we're going through, whether it's a good time, whether it's a bad time, whether it's just kind of those in-betweens where it's kind of like, all those times, our intention is to bring God glory, to magnify him, to praise him. And then in verse 5 he says, but I am poor and needy. Make haste unto me, O God. Thou art my help and my deliverer. O Lord, make no tarry. He again shows the importance, the urgency of his request. He's not just coming to God saying, okay, God, bless me and continue to give me great things and help me have a good day. He's saying, God, I've got urgent things going on here and I need you, and I recognize that I'm poor and needy. I can't do anything on my own. I need you to help me. I've said it over and over. One of my favorite parts of the psalm is listed in two different verses, but it's the same verse. It says, give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. That's what David is saying right here, saying, God, I can't do this on my own. I need you. That's a good remembrance, isn't it? To remember that whatever we're facing, we need God. Whatever it is, even if we think we've got it controlled, no, we're just poor and needy. We need God to be leading us, guiding us through every stage of our life, through everything we encounter. The good times, the bad times, it doesn't matter. We need Him, and we need His help. That's what we want to remember. So, I want you to think about a few things. You don't have to list these in the chat. You can just kind of list these to yourself if you want to, but I want you to take a moment to think about some of the things that God has done for you. You know, we listed things we lose, things we forget, things we find that we didn't know we had, or forgot we had. But let's stop for a moment and say, what are some of the things that God has done for me? What are some of the situations He's brought me through to this point? What are some of the times when I needed Him the most and He showed up? Let's just think about those for a moment. Now, you're free to share them if you want to, but I'm not asking you to do that in the chat there. I know I have this up on the screen and all that, so if you don't want to, put it in the chat, just stop and think to yourself for a moment. Times that God has done things for you. You know, maybe it's an answered prayer. Maybe it's a blessing you didn't even think to ask for that God eventually gave to you, that you could see, yes, this was the hand of God. This was something He did for me. It also makes me think about the things you're waiting for God to do. Let's think for a moment. Again, this is not one you have to put in the chat. This isn't one of our lists. I don't want you to necessarily put this out there if you don't want to. But I do want you to think about it to yourself. There's probably things you've been praying, saying, God, I need you to help in this area. I need you to answer this prayer. God, I need you. And we want to stop and think about those. Let's keep that as a remembrance. You know, it doesn't do any good to ask God for help and then walk away and forget that, okay, now I got to go figure this out. No, we ask God for help. We come back to God and we wait for Him to give us the help. That's why David had that urgency in there. He said, God, make haste. Please do this quickly. I'm sitting here in need. I'm sitting here unable to see things from the big perspective that you can see it. And I need your help right now. And so that's what I want you to think about as well. The things you're waiting for God to do. Because I'm sure we all have things right now that we're praying about. Things that are on our heart. Things that we might be going through, or things people in our lives that might be going through things, all kinds of burdens and concerns that we can take to God, and we're kind of waiting on Him to take action. Think about those for just a moment, and then go back to that last verse. Say, God, I am poor and needy. Make haste unto me, O God. Thou art my helper and my deliverer. O Lord, make no tarry. Let's go to God and just say, God, I'm giving this to you because I can't do anything. Vain is the help of man. I could do my best, and it would fail miserably. God, I need you to do this. And Lord, please make haste. No tarry. I love that ability to say, God, this is how urgent I feel. God doesn't mind us. I listen to that first, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. That's kind of like, the kids at Christmas time are wanting to go, hey, can I go buy presents now? It kind of feels like that. But yet, when you think about it, so many of the things we bring to God, the prayer requests we have, the things we're waiting on Him, they are urgent. They are things that we're saying, God, I really need to see you work here. I need to see you do something. And we're having to make that statement of faith of saying, I am poor and needy. I'm coming to you. You are my help. You are my deliverer. Let's go through this week remembering that. One, that we have a God we can go to. Two, that we have a God that does answer prayer. And a God that is our deliverer, that is our help. And one that we can bring our requests to. So I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you're getting able to enjoy the Memorial Day holiday tomorrow. If not, if you're having to work, then hopefully you'll get to at least have some good food or something related to the holiday. Miss Judy mentions that God has helped out so many times that she feels she hates to ask Him, but she knows if she does, He will. Isn't that so true? Sometimes it feels like I'm just always going back to God and saying, okay, God, I need you to do this now. I know you just answered that prayer, but I need you to do this one. And He's just answered so many prayers. I've been so blessed that I can understand that, Miss Judy, as well. Of feeling like, I don't know if I just don't want to take another question because I just got through asking for help with this other thing. But that's the God we serve, the God that is our help, the God that is our deliverer. So as I mentioned, I hope each of you get to have a good time with this Memorial Day, and I hope you have a wonderful week. If I can be of any help, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Give me a phone call, a quick text message, or contact me through Facebook or YouTube or something. And we'll see you all next week. And have a great week. And I love you all.